All right, so this is going to be a start of a series where I talk about various health strategies that I implement into my daily life. So today I'm going to talk about the fast that I just completed. So everybody knows about fasting. I've talked about it a whole bunch of times. So if you've seen my other videos, you probably heard me talk about fasting so far. So basically, fasting is when you go prolonged periods without food. And preferably, if you can, dry fasting is the optimal way to go. Dry fasting entails no water and no food for longer than 24 hours or however long as you can possibly go, because to get up to 24 hours it's going to take you varying periods of time between 8 hours up to 12 hours. You'll have to work your way up to 16 hours, then you'll have to maybe work your way up to being able to do a whole day until right before you go to bed, and then you have to drink water because you can't fall asleep without it. And then after a while, you maybe will finally be able to push through and do a full day completed of dry fasting. Well, subject at hand today is the fast I just completed, and I'm going to basically describe to you why I do it, and then why it's also a good thing to implement into your routine in life, because it saves you 1, money, 2, time, 3, sleep, and 4, if you have children, it makes that go a lot more smooth because you spend less time cooking food. So there's a variety of reasons to do this, but the main one is to achieve autophagy. So basically, autophagy is where your body starts to heal itself on its own, and that it's due to stress. When I say it's due to stress, that makes it sound a little worse than it actually is. But if you are coming into a fast with a nutritionally complete profile, meaning you get all your amino acids daily, all your essential fatty acids daily, all your minerals, all your trace minerals, all your rare earth elements, and then a good high protein, high fat, low carb diet on top of not high protein, moderate protein. Actually, I take that back. So if you're coming into this with a nutritionally complete profile within your body, which that doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of you. It means a whole bunch of numbers and calculations in my own head. But that's because I am aware of a huge variety of facts about nutrition that almost nobody else knows or understands, and therefore is not able to implement into their daily life. Okay, I talked a little longer than I would like to before I started talking about this, but I'm going to go into what I just did for my fast. Okay, so I'm going to go over actually both of my most recent fasts here. So yesterday was just a simple 36-hour fast. So basically what happened was I had built up about maybe a 2-week period of being busy. I was trying to go to as many concerts as I could before the summer closed. So I did that, and I went to a whole bunch of concerts before the summer ended. So because of that, I was getting sleepy. I was I was finding it hard to maintain my daily schedule in line with the time that I had. So I wanted to reset my daily schedule to basically where I would wake up early and get a good start on them, and then completely reset my sleep schedule while also catching up upon sleep that I had missed out on. So basically, if you don't know this about fasting, and you really only know this if you have a long time or a long-term experience with fasting where you do fasting on a routine basis. So pretty much what happens is when you do fasting, your sleep schedule is completely reordered, and basically you're almost reanimated into a new person in terms of sleep and what you're used to having in your life. And this is especially so if you are not a consumer of wheat flour, because wheat flour is an opiate which triggers both insulin resistance, and it also triggers essentially lethargy and sloth within the human being because it is an opiate, as I said. So this is an undeniable fact. I'll put information in the comments about wheat being an opiate. So if you are already a gluten-free diet connoisseur like I am, well, fasting becomes quite easy because you are not addicted to an opioid. So that's one of the things here that will help, or that will change things if you are a non-gluten eater, or if you are a gluten eater, because if you do eat gluten, your sleep is probably going to be effed up completely because of the opioid properties of wheat flour. And basically, you're not going to have the same sleep experience that I have. So what I did is, like I mentioned before, I was getting sleepy. I was needing to readjust my sleep and getting a good rest. So what I did was I woke up for the day, and I didn't eat anything all day. I just did my thing, and then I went to the gym, and then basically after that, I pretty much came home, got a whole bunch of work done that I had saved up specifically for this event. So, because when you're fasting and you're not eating, you have a lot of time on your hands to get a lot of stuff done. So I was putting off. Actually, what I did was I downloaded like 3,000 hours worth of audio, which is from Bill Cooper. I'll put a link to what I downloaded. I downloaded every single episode in the attached link in the comments. So all 1,565 episodes that are all at least 1 hour long, I downloaded all of them. That's what I got done during this fast right here. And then I went to sleep after that, and I slept a good 8 hours, which that doesn't seem unreasonable or anything, but it's when you're fasting, your sleep is incredibly better because you're not using your energy of the body to digest food. Because when you take away the energy needed to digest food because you're not eating food, and you redirect that to other pathways in the body, you get both big surges of energy and changes in energy. And essentially what happens is your sleep is like supercharged when you're fasting, because the body is able to put aside better resources to use while the body is asleep, because normally the body would be trying to digest food while sleeping, so that takes some of the energy away from what you would normally get out of sleeping. So at least for me, what happens now is I wake up feeling a little more tired than I usually would on a day where I'm not fasting. But for me, the second day after my fast is the best day. I get an amazing night's sleep on the second night, and I get a pretty dang good night on the night of the actual fast. But the night after the fast is the best for me now. So that's just because of my long experience and my long history of fasting. I have dealt with both not being able to sleep. I once stayed up for 60 hours straight because it was partly because I had to go to work. So I was forced to stay up for 60 hours straight, because if I didn't do that, I would have missed my 8-hour shift and I would have been screwed. So that time I had to stay up for 60 hours, but I did it relatively easily. All I did was come home. I was pretty tired by the end of my 8-hour shift, and that was the third day straight working. So like by then I was super tired. But see, like that can happen in your beginning stages where you can fast and you won't be able to sleep, and you're just too wired to sleep because your body's not used to this new phenomenon that you're performing for it, which is essentially you obtaining autophagy with your body, which if you research autophagy enough, you can just figure out that it's immensely beneficial to the human body long term and short term as well. And it is responsible for clearing out basically all the crap that's built up into your body. The only way to clear the crap out of your body is to give up eating for a couple days and let your body feast on all this crap in here. And then also, because it's not using the energy that you need to digest food, well, it creates a bunch of sludges and stuff that clean out all your intestines and your colon and all of that stuff. They all go back. Once you've achieved autophagy for a long period of time, well, your entire body resets itself essentially to the state you were born in, at least optimally. You can't exactly reset the aging that has happened, but in terms of how your organs are supposed to function and all of that, once you have fasted, you're essentially resetting how they function, and they've also been cleaned out by the self-cleaning process of the body. So those are the main reasons you want to do a fast in the first place. Like, you don't just stop eating food just for the hell of it. I mean, it's not exactly the funnest thing in the world to go to bed on somewhat of an empty stomach and, go through the next day like today after I woke up from my completed fast of the day before, which was fairly easy to do because I went to bed at like 11 o'clock, which was pretty early for me. And I woke up at like 8 a.m. So woke up, went to the gym again, did my whole workout, fasted. So I did 2 workouts while fasting, had no problems whatsoever. Actually, if anything, I had abundant energy due to the lack of my body taking energy from me to digest food, which actually never happens to me in a workout because I only do workouts fasted. I pretty much fast intermittently, which means not completing the full day's fast, but basically doing a full day's fast and then eating at a small window, which for me comes at the end of the day. Some people, it might come at the start of the day. Some people, it might come in the middle of the day, and then they'll fast the hours in between that. But for me, I eat at the end of the day. So for me, I'm always fasting. So this is all relatively easy for me, and I only eat at the end of the day. So basically, for me, at the drop of a hat, I could just do a fast anytime I want, because it's not until about at least 10 p.m. that I decide whether or not I'm going to even eat for the day. Which normally I am going to eat, obviously, because out of 365 days in a year, I'm eating at least 300 of them, at least. Usually, probably around 320 or so days a year I will spend eating, and 40-ish so days I will spend fasting. So yeah, for me, this is very, very old hat. I've been doing this since I was like 23 years old. Longest fast I've ever done in my life was 7 days long. I've done another 6-day fast. I've done probably a dozen 4-day fasts and another dozen 3-day fasts, because I fast around my working schedule. So if I get overwhelmed with work, then I do a fast so I don't become overwhelmed with work, so I can balance the rest of my life with work. So essentially, my idea on this, what I wanted to get to, is the point of this video, is to work your life balance between work, personal responsibilities, personal enjoyments, and whatever else you throw into there. I wouldn't exactly recommend this for the debaucherous out there, which is probably most of you listening. So the debaucherous, you kind of need not qualify for any of this. So this is for people who live within personal responsibility and seek to have a greater outcome and a greater longevity in their life. Okay, so like when you want to get things done, you want to do your hobbies, and you want to also take care of your personal chores in life that you must do to keep things like your personal hygiene up to par and whatnot. So like to make all of that happen in a given week while you're working 40 hours. So basically all you do is do what I just did. You decide one day a week, just one day a week. It's all it takes, just one day a week. One day a week, you wake up and say, today's the day I fast. So basically, you just go to work, clock your 8 hours in, do your 8 hours like normal. But this only works if you're trained to fast already. So you got to train your way up to being able to do this. So most of you won't be able to complete the first day on your first attempt. You could probably go to work and do your whole 8-hour work day without food and then eat after work, and that would be the start of your journey in intermittent fasting. So eventually you could work up to or you go to work, clock in your 8 hours, and then you wait maybe 3 hours after work until you eat. That'll be 11 hours. So then maybe another day you work up to maybe 6 hours after you get off work, so you eat like right before bed and just eat a small meal and get used to that. So maybe do that 3-4 times, just working your way up to as many hours as you can achieve in a day. Okay, so then after that, once you've achieved and feel satisfied and feel healthy to where you can do a full day's fast. So basically all you do is you just wake up, decide I'm not going to eat today, go the whole day, just go to work, do your thing, don't eat at all, just don't eat at all. And then generally you're probably going to want to go to bed early, because what you want to do is usually do this on a day where you need to get caught up on your sleep. So that's what I did, like I said before. So I was trying to catch up on my sleep, and that's exactly what I did. And also change my daily pattern. So basically, just go to bed early, and you're going to wake up probably at like 4 in the morning. You're going to feel incredible if you can actually pull this off. So if you wake up at, say, 4 in the morning after going to bed at maybe like 9:30 p.m., or you might even wake up at 2:30 a.m., who's to really say? Or you could just sleep until work the next day and get like 11 hours sleep from 9 until like 7 a.m., something like that. There's a whole bunch of ways you can pull this off. But for me, I basically just went to bed at about, I forget exactly what I did. I think I went to bed at like 10:30, and I woke up, well, this time I needed to catch up on my sleep, so I woke up, this time I actually got a solid 8 hours in. Woke up at about 8 a.m., and I was feeling great. And, well, part of the reason I say that's only 8 hours sleep, I usually when I fast, I wake up in the middle of the night, and it's harder for me to fall back to sleep. It's harder than ever to fall back to sleep if you've woken up from sleep and fast, because if you've done enough fasting, you'll find that oftentimes, like on a dry fast, you can go for 3 hours of sleep and you'll be just feeling phenomenal. Like it's otherworldly. So you'll feel phenomenal off of 3 hours of sleep certain times, and other times you might need 8 hours. So in this instance, I needed 8 hours. And then I woke up feeling great. Well, actually, today I wasn't feeling particularly great. at least compared to normal anyways. So I was feeling a little sluggish, but part of the reason for that is because I had done a workout the day before that was pretty rough. So I wasn't sore in my back because I don't have back problems because I fixed those with everything that I talk about with health. Like I told you in my video about curing every disease on earth, I already did that for myself. There's not exactly a cure. You just prevent these things from happening. There's a lot of work to prevent these things and a lot of things you got to learn to prevent these things. But I can show anyone how to cure any disease that they desire to cure. It's very easy to do. It's very easy. But you pretty much have to give up most of what you're eating now to do it. So that's the problem here. And you also have to give up most of what you're eating now to make fasting successful in your life. Because everything I'm talking about with fasting here is utterly pointless unless you commit to a diet that does not bring back the microbiome destruction that has wrecked your body prior to this. So pretty much everybody, unbeknownst to themselves, has utterly devastated their gut microbiome, and because of that, they have problems with stomach acid, and they're going to deal with food cravings because of this, because if you don't have an adequate gut microbiome, you can't possibly defeat food cravings, because having an adequate gut microbiome is the first stage to being healthy. Being healthy entails to be able to control your caloric consumption. If you don't have a healthy gut microbiome, it is impossible to control your caloric consumption. So if you're going to want to do this fasting stuff that I'm talking about here, you're really only going to want to do it if you're down with correcting your gut microbiome for the rest of your life. Because if you're not down with doing that, there's no point to fasting in the first place. Because once you break the fast and go back to eating, say, wheat flour, well, your gut microbiome returns to the state that you just reversed it out of. So what you just reversed your body out of in terms of disease state, you will reverse your body back into as soon as you start eating, say, wheat flour, the poison known as wheat flour, which no human being, no mortal man, and nobody should eat wheat flour, period. That's all I got to say about it. I already made a whole video on this. I'm going to link it in the comments. So if you're still eating wheat flour, just get out of here and don't listen to any of this until you stop eating wheat flour and learn why you should stop eating wheat flour in the first place. And maybe you're in the first year of adjusting to a gluten-free diet, so if you're actually making a lifelong commitment to adjusting to a gluten-free diet, I will excuse you in the first year, maybe year and a half of adjusting to a gluten-free diet if you slip up, because I had slip-ups in my first year and a half myself. So I can't hold you accountable to a standard that I did not hold myself accountable to. So I will give anybody who actually is down with listening to this, I will actually allow you to make some excuses for why you slipped up, because it is hard, and it's not something that the average person can do without completely disrupting their life. And that doesn't really mean disrupting it into too crazy of a way, but there is going to be severe disruptions in terms of things like you're going to have to start telling your friends, yeah, I can't go there anymore because they serve poison, like that type of thing. So, but getting back to the fasting thing here, like I said, the reason to do this, basically just to balance your life out. The whole thing is to control your life balance and make your life balance easier to manage. So as I described, all you do is go to work your whole day, and fast during the whole day. And because of that fast, you manage to catch up on your sleep, you catch up on your work-life balance, you catch up on chores, assuming you had the discipline to actually pull this stuff off in your fasted state, which might be hard for those who are not well adjusted to fasting yet, because you might be dealing with something like low energy levels if it is your first maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe even up to 20 times fasting. So you might be dealing with lethargy as you adjust to a lower caloric intake and a variety of factors that basically is going to amount to your body's cleaning out all kinds of fucking poison that you've consumed over the years. So you're going to feel like crap as it tries to get this stuff out of you. And if you look into what your bowel movements look like after long periods of fasting, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So all you got to do is look in the toilet after a long fast and see what you crap out of your body. And you're going to know exactly what it's doing for you, because it's going to be nasty. I'll tell you, especially if you're a first timer, it's going to be disgusting. Like, I got somebody in my family where if they actually pulled this fasting stuff off, I'd probably I'd probably pass out if I saw what ended up in the toilet. And I'm dead serious on that. I'm not going to tell you who it is. It ain't too hard to figure out, though, because I ain't got too many in there. But I mean, but just anybody. Like, if I pulled a random person off the street, told them and got them to do a 2-day fast, and you looked in the toilet after that, you'd probably pass out from the rank stank of it. Like, it's not pretty. So, like, for me, the bowel movement I had before making this video, or relatively shortly before making this video, because I happen to have broken this fast while making this video. I'm making this video about 2 hours after breaking my 36-hour fast, which manifested out of essentially nothing and altered what is the normal course of my life in no way whatsoever, except for improving it. Because, like I said, I did this fast because I needed to catch up on my sleep. There was just too much going on. I didn't have time to cook a meal that day, which for me doesn't take long because I've got a system down where my cooking is it's like it's like a whole second nature to me. So like me preparing meals is just something I do now. It's not something that isn't part of my life. It's easy for me to do. But even with it being easy and doesn't take a whole lot of my time load off of me, so like even with that, I still run out of time and I don't have time to prepare and eat a meal, because actually that's the main part. For me, eating takes a while because I chew the crap out of my food because I know so much about digestion and hunger that I know that you should chew literally everything you're eating like 35, 50 times before you actually swallow it down, because that jump starts the digestive process. Because chyme is part of your saliva, and chyme is the first step of breaking down food. So that's part of the reason to chew things 50-something times before you swallow it. And because of that, it takes me a little while to eat. My uncle actually cracked my scumbag great uncle, Gary, by the way, he cracked a joke about me that he would be hungry by the time he finished eating. He'd be hungry again by the time he finished eating if he took as long as I did to eat. So that was his big scumbag joke about making fun of me for about the way I ate, because he couldn't pull it off on his own. So he had to deflect with his scumbag humor. So yeah, I mean, forgot where I was going now. Well, I kind of rambled on a little bit more than I would have liked to with that, but I basically got most of my points across. The only thing I want to add here is, now what would you do if you extended this into a 2-day fast? Well, that's pretty easy to pull off. See, for me, I don't give a care in the world about making money, because I have no desire whatsoever to ever buy anything that impresses you people. Because I've seen how you react to things like me telling you that I do fasts for 60 plus hours at a time, all the way up to 120 hours or more at a time, and you think I'm an absolute nut job for even not, like, you think I'm an absolute nut job because you think I'm going to die from doing that. That's how little we have in common. Like, why would I buy anything to impress the type of person that actually has genuine concern that I'm going to die for something that I can easily do and actually benefit immensely from? As you can see when you see me in real life compared to the lazy fat slobs that are around me en masse. Well, okay, so see, because of things like this, I don't have any care in the world about making money. So I don't bother to work 60 hours a week like the rest of you. I can't call you slaves, because you're not slaves. You actually have some autonomy in the things you purchase. I say purchase for a reason that the comments will allude to with a video that you can learn from. Okay, so because I have no desire to impress any of you selfish, arrogant asshats who are addicted to greed, well, because of that, I typically have to work jobs that requires you to work a whole fucking weekend straight, basically. So often, I will do a fast starting on the work on Friday night or Friday morning, all the way up until Saturday, through Saturday, and into Sunday. And then I break my fast at the end of near the end of my shift with some fruit. Actually, that's one thing I'd add here. With some fruit. So I'm getting paid to break my fast, and then because I broke my fast a couple hours before I got off of work, well, then I just go home and eat the prepared, usually meal of chicken that I have waiting for me. So because I often work these jobs that can entail an entire weekend of working. Well, see, that's where the fasting, the 2.5 days, comes into play and works extremely well. I just go to work every day, go to sleep, go to work, go to sleep, go to work. Fucking, that's all I do. And well, then actually, I say go to work, and basically that means coming home and doing more of my own personal work or personal chores at home that I have to take care of. So, like, that type of thing, just literally, it's just like 60 hours straight of just work, which I don't mind because I'm saving money, not eating food. I'm making money working, and I'm literally not spending anything whatsoever. And I'm actually increasing my long-term health assets. So I'm introducing autophagy to my body, which is immensely beneficial to the human body. And I'm getting paid to do so. And I don't have to spend money on food. So, like, that's kind of my thinking with a lot of this. There's a whole bunch of other stuff thrown into this. After I re-listen to this video, after I post it, I'm going to make notes of what I forgot to throw in here. And I'm going to make a part 2 on this. Oh, and like I said, if you ever do fast, please take this to heart, because I learned this the hard way. You can only break a fast with a couple pieces of fruit, and your stomach is going to be massively shrunken. So basically, on the day you come back, like, which means me right now, which I only ate like half the portion of the fruit I normally eat in a day, which is normally the first meal of the day. The day I eat, I usually eat a couple pieces of fruit. So today I just ate a banana, an apple, and an orange. Normally I'll eat a little bit more than that, and this is the one thing you can kind of get away with a little bit extra on is you can eat a pretty fair amount of fruit when you break a fast. But when I go eat my meal of chicken that I have cooking right now, which I can take out and eat at any time that I feel like, pretty much. So when I go eat that, now that's when the shrunken stomach is gonna come into play here. So your shrunken stomach, you're only gonna be able to eat about half the size of the meal that you normally eat. So keep that in mind if you ever do fasting. And like I said, do not break a fast with anything but fruit or vegetables. You can do vegetables, but it's a lot more fun to do fruit because after you've gone a full day or 2 or 3 or 4 without eating, well, you're going to want something sweet. So, I mean, just probably going to go with fruit. It's better to do vegetables, I would presume. I've never actually done it. I've never actually broken a fast with just straight vegetables because, like I said, I always wanted something sweet because I haven't eaten in a couple days. I'm kind of actually craving something at that point, which normally is never the case for me. Normally, I could just, let's say here, do a 2-day fast at the drop of a hat and wouldn't bother me in any way whatsoever. I could go do 2 workouts and work an 8-hour shift and then work out after and then go to bed after that. And it wouldn't be a problem for me. I could do that 2, 3, 4 days straight. Work out after, work out after, sleep. Like, I could just do that endlessly. But by the time the end of the 3, 4, 2, 1 day is up, well, see, you're kind of craving something a little bit at that point. Which, like I said, normally isn't a thing because I do so much fasting that I have such a complete nutritional profile within my body. Like, my body is arrayed in all of the nutrients that I need right now. That's why this bottle's here, actually. I'm going to take a drink on camera. I shouldn't be doing this every couple of minutes because I drink this stuff all day long because these are the nutrients that ensure that I have a completely topped off nutritional profile. So for me, it's relatively easy to do this stuff because I don't get hungry because my supplements there give me all the nutrition I could possibly ever get from food. And then times that by 100. So, like, if you're satiated by the vitamins that are in your food, well, imagine getting 1,000 times that amount just from drinking a liquid. Well, you can imagine that would satiate the body because that's the whole purpose of nutrients in the first place. Nutrients satiate hunger. That's why you're always hungry. Your body's asking you for nutrients. That's why you're always hungry. I'm getting my nutrients times 1,000 in all 90 of them, except for essential fatty acids because they would go rancid in here and they would be bad for me if I put them in here. So all but 2 nutrients known to the human body, or that are essential to the human body, all but 2 of them are in here. And then I get like 150 different, I can't even say exactly what is all in here. It's fucking insane what's in here. Like, it's literally mind-boggling what's inside this bottle. So that's how I pull all this stuff off here. Beyond Tangy Tangerine, OsteoFX, they're both in this bottle. I put Beyond Tangy Tangerine Tablets 2.0, and I do a whole bunch of other insane stuff, like there's a teaspoon of boron in here. There's diatomaceous earth. I'm blanking on. There's collagen. I put extra calcium. I put extra vitamin B3. And I also, I'm trying to think of the other cheap ones. I put cream of tartar in here for a little potassium. And then, so like that's why fasting's easy for me. It's not going to be easy for you because you don't have a complete nutritional profile. Please see my video on the cure for all disease to understand this. It's kind of like you got to take like 25, 60, 75 hours just to become a beginner, to 75 hours learning about this stuff just to even cover like maybe a tenth of what I know. So like until you do that, you're not going to really understand why and what I'm talking about here. But I'm just letting you know that's the deal here. That's what's going on. So yeah, that's the end, I guess. So like I said, I'm going to take notes and I'm going to add whatever else I need to add in the next part. Anything else here? Anything else? Yeah, I guess that's it. So that's how I do fasting. That's how I pull a lot of things off, and that's pretty much how I make money. Because I don't know how the fuck you people do it. Like, honestly, I really don't know how you do it. Like, fucking working as an indentured servant for over 50 hours a week, and you never take a break from eating. Like, good God, that must be fucking. You must be run ragged. You must be fucking. You must not even have time to work out and must be getting flabby all over the place. And you probably got what, some hip dips going on. You probably got some back flab on you. Definitely no abs. Got a whole bunch of stomach fat. I mean, I probably would too if I hadn't figured out fasting. Actually, I know I would. I'd be a fucking fat ass, kind of like the rest of my family, if I didn't figure all this stuff out on my own. So that's what I got to say there. Enjoy. Bon voyage.